Prayers are pouring in for Deion Sanders after scary health update. The pain behind Coach Prime's smile. For most people, pain is something that stops them. For Deion Sanders, pain has simply become part of his story. A recurring character in a saga that refuses to end. Once the fastest man on turf, once the face of flash and fearlessness in the NFL, and now the heart and voice of the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders is again fighting a battle that no opponent can prepare him for. Fans know him as Coach Prime, the motivator, the fighter, the man who can turn belief into a weapon. But behind the iconic sunglasses and the electric sideline energy lies a truth that resurfaced this week. Deion Sanders is hurting again. A health scare that shook Colorado. It was supposed to be just another week in Boulder. The Buffaloes had come off a disappointing 35-21 loss to TCU, and Coach Prime was preparing his team for a bounce back. But something else stole the headlines. This time, it wasn't about football. It was about Deion's health again. On October 4th, DNVR Buffs analyst Scott Proctor sent out a tweet that sent shivers through the Colorado fanbase. Coach Prime says he feels like he has more blood clots. He's recently felt pain in his foot again and says he has a doctor's appointment Monday. For many, those words were enough to bring back haunting memories from 2021, when Sanders nearly lost his leg due to complications from blood clots. He had undergone multiple surgeries, suffered from infections, and had to have 2 toes amputated. It was a dark chapter, one that Deion and his family thought they had left behind. But now, the ghost of that nightmare has returned. It doesn't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy. Sanders himself didn't hide the truth. He never does. After the TCU loss, he spoke candidly to reporters, his usual charm giving way to frustration and fatigue. It doesn't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy, Deion admitted. I'm not getting blood to my leg. That's why my leg is throbbing. Those are not the words anyone wants to hear from a man who has already endured more than his fair share of medical battles. Yet, even as pain pulsed through his leg, Deion refused to sit out. He continued coaching through the fourth quarter, barefoot on one side, grimacing in pain but unwilling to show weakness to his players. Fans watching the game noticed something was off. As cameras panned to the sidelines, Coach Prime could be seen sitting on a stool, removing his shoe, and wincing as he barked instructions. For most, it looked like discomfort. For those who knew his story, it looked like déjà vu. A relentless fight against his own body. This isn't the first time Sanders has faced medical adversity head-on. Back in 2021, while coaching Jackson State, he was hospitalized for nearly a month due to blood clot complications following a surgery. What started as a routine procedure spiraled into a life-threatening ordeal. Doctors discovered dangerous arterial blood clots in both legs. As a result, Deion lost his big and second toes on his left foot. He had to relearn how to walk, how to coach, how to live. The fact that he returned to the sidelines less than a year later wasn't just inspiring. It was almost miraculous. After moving to Colorado in 2023, Sanders underwent additional surgeries on the same leg. He began wearing custom shoes designed to relieve pressure and restore circulation. But now, that familiar pain, the one he had fought so hard to overcome, has returned. I thought we were past this, one close team source told reporters. He's been walking differently for weeks, but he just kept saying, "I'm good. I'll be fine." But clearly he isn't fine. The game that revealed the pain. When the Buffaloes took on TCU, the focus was supposed to be on football. But by the fourth quarter, the story had changed. Observers saw Deion visibly struggling to stay on his feet, grimacing as he leaned on assistance for balance. He later revealed that he coached part of the game with only one shoe on, his left foot bare, swollen, and throbbing with pain. Despite the agony, he refused to step away. "My players can't see me quit," he said after the game. "If I can't stand, I'll sit. But I'm not leaving them." It's that attitude, that refusal to give in, that has made Deion Sanders more than just a football coach. He's become a symbol of resilience, a man who has turned suffering into inspiration. The medical mystery, blood flow and clots. Behind the scenes, Sanders' medical team has been in constant communication. He revealed that he'll meet with Dr. Don Jacobs and Dr. Max Wohlauer, two vascular specialists who helped him during his 2021 ordeal, as well as Dr. Kenneth Hunt, a foot and ankle surgeon. The concern? That his blood clots have returned, blocking circulation to his leg. In medical terms, it's called arterial occlusion, a dangerous condition that can cause tissue damage, severe pain, and in extreme cases, the need for amputation. In 2021, doctors had discovered aneurysms in Deion's upper thigh, where small clots were breaking off and restricting blood flow to his lower leg. Now, signs point toward history repeating itself. Every time I pedal a stationary bike or try a leg curl, the pain shoots up, Deion shared. It's like fire running through my leg. For a man who built a career on speed and precision, the idea of his own leg betraying him is heartbreaking. But the truth is, Deion has learned to live with pain. He just refuses to let it define him. Fans flood social media with prayers. The moment news broke, the internet lit up with concern. From former teammates to casual fans, everyone seemed united by a single message. Get well, Coach Prime. Damn, get well Prime, folded hands, medium skin tone. One fan posted, echoing the sentiment of thousands. Another wrote, hope he can make it through the season. Might be time to remove the foot. It was a chilling comment, one rooted in both fear and realism. Deion's previous scans had shown how close he came to losing his leg last time. The possibility looms again. Even rival fans expressed sympathy, realizing that beneath the flash and swagger, Deion Sanders is a man who's been fighting for his health for years. The burden of leadership amid suffering. It's one thing to battle illness in private. It's another to do it under the bright lights of national television, with millions watching your every move. Yet that's exactly what Deion continues to do. Despite the pain, despite the swelling, despite doctors urging him to take it easy, he's been at every practice, every meeting, every game. You wouldn't know how much pain he's in until he sits down and sighs, said one of his assistants. He doesn't talk about it. He just keeps moving. But the cost is visible. During the TCU game, cameras caught him limping heavily, his face tightened in pain. After the final whistle, he lingered for a few moments before heading straight to the locker room, supported by staff. It's the kind of image that sticks with fans, the invincible coach suddenly looking human. A season of struggles and stress. If his health scare wasn't enough, Sanders is also facing mounting pressure on the field. The Buffaloes, who started 2025 with optimism and national attention, have fallen into a slump. Losses against Georgia Tech, 20-27, Houston, 20-36, BYU, 21-24, and now TCU, 21-35, have left fans restless and critics circling. The team's record sits at 2-4, and murmurs about coaching changes across the country have added fuel to the fire. Just last month, UCLA fired Deshaun Foster, Virginia Tech let go of Brent Pry, and Oklahoma State parted ways with Mike Gundy. The college football world is growing impatient, and some fear that if Colorado doesn't turn things around, Coach Prime could be next. Starting to feel like this will be his last season, one fan wrote on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. But firing Deion wouldn't be easy, not emotionally, and certainly not financially. His contract buyout sits at $8 million. And beyond money, his cultural impact on Colorado football is immeasurable. Still, pressure and pain combined can test even the strongest spirit. Life without his sons. This season has also been an emotional one for Sanders personally. His sons, Shadur and Shiloh Sanders, both left for the NFL after successful college careers under their father's guidance. Only Deion Sanders Jr., who handles much of the media content for the team, remains by his side. For a man who has always leaned on family, the absence of his boys on the field adds another layer of loneliness. He misses them, a Colorado staff member admitted. He talks about them before every game, but he's proud. He raised men who are chasing their dreams. Still, without his son's presence, the sideline feels emptier, and the pain, both physical and emotional, seems heavier. A faith that never falters. If there's one constant in Deion Sanders' life, it's faith. Even as fans flood social media with prayers, Deion himself continues to pray for strength. In interviews, he often speaks of God as his anchor, the only reason he's still walking, coaching, and smiling despite everything. "God's got me," he said recently. "He didn't bring me this far to leave me." Those words, simple but powerful, encapsulate what keeps Deion going. When his body fails him, his belief carries him. When doctors warn him, his faith reassures him. And perhaps that's why fans resonate so deeply with his story. Because beneath the celebrity and confidence, Sanders represents something profoundly human, the courage to keep standing when everything hurts. What comes next? As of now, Sanders is scheduled for a full medical evaluation early next week. His doctors will determine whether the blood clots have returned and whether additional procedures are needed. Until then, Deion plans to keep coaching, albeit